nouns: common noun, proper noun, concrete noun, abstract noun, countable noun, uncountable noun, compound noun, and collective noun. A noun names a person, place, thing, or ideas. So we can have singular nouns. These refer to one place, person, or thing. For example, boat, lion, monkey. There are plural nouns. These refer to more than one place, person, thing, or idea. For example, babies, horses, cats. Common noun. Common nouns name non-specific places, people, and things. For example, boy, country, animal. Proper noun. Proper nouns name a specific place, person, or thing. For example, Emily, England, January. Concrete noun. Concrete noun refers to people or things that exist physically and can be perceived with one of your senses. For example, building, bridge, tree. Abstract noun. Abstract nouns have no physical existence. They refer to ideas, emotions, and concepts. For example, fear, time, freedom. Countable noun. Countable nouns are nouns that can be counted as separate units. They have a singular and a plural form. So when using the singular form, we generally add a or an before the noun, and when using the plural form, we can add the number. For example, cup, bike, apples. So we can say a cup, a bike, 3 apples. Uncountable noun. These are nouns that can't be counted as separate units. They only have a singular form. For example, liquids, music, gas. Compound noun. Compound nouns are made up of 2 or more smaller words that create a noun. For example, notebook, toothpaste, friendship. Collective noun. Collective noun refers to a group of people, animals, or things. For example, audience, army, crowd. A pronoun replaces the noun in a sentence. A noun names a person, place, thing, or idea. So there are several different types of pronouns, including personal pronoun, possessive pronoun, reflexive pronoun, reciprocal pronoun, relative pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, interrogative pronoun, and indefinite pronoun. Personal pronoun. Personal pronoun substitutes a specific person or object. So when substituting the subject, we use I, you, they, he, she, it, we. For example, they went to school. When substituting the object, we use me, him, her, you, it, us, them. For example, that is her car. Possessive pronoun. This type of pronoun shows ownership of a noun. This includes my, your, our, his, her, its, theirs. For example, that is my cat. Is that your house? aren't followed by another noun. So the types of independent possessive pronouns include mine, yours, ours, his, hers, its, theirs. For example, the house is theirs. The cat is hers. Reflexive pronouns. These pronouns are used when the subject and object of the sentence are the same. These pronouns refer back to the subject of the sentence. This includes myself, yourself, ourselves, himself, herself, itself, yourselves, and themselves. For example, I want to buy myself a new car. He poured himself a drink. Reciprocal pronoun. These pronouns are used when two or more people are doing the same thing. This includes each other, one another. For example, the kids kick the ball to one another. Fatima and Anna are talking to each other. Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns connect a clause or phrase to a noun or pronoun. This includes who, whom, whose, which, where, when, why, what. For example, I don't know which hat to buy. I didn't hear what you said. Demonstrative pronoun. This type of pronoun is used to point to the specific noun being mentioned. They can be singular or plural. For example, this, these, those, that. Those shoes look great. These apples are red. Interrogative pronoun. This type of pronoun takes the place of a noun in a question. This includes who, whom, what, which, whose. For example, what time will you arrive? Who is she talking to? Indefinite pronouns. These type of pronouns are used to show unspecified people or objects. They can be singular or plural. This includes everyone, somebody, all, nobody, anything, few, many, something, anybody. For example, everyone has arrived. Anybody can come to the event. There are 5 types of adverbs. Adverbs of time, adverbs of manner, adverbs of degree, adverbs of place, and adverbs of frequency. An adverb describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. The adverb expresses the time, manner, degree, place, and frequency. Adverbs of time. These adverbs provide information about the time the verb takes place. This includes now, yesterday, tomorrow, later, yet, already, today, last month, year, soon. For example, I started school yesterday. Next month I will buy a house. Adverbs of manner. These adverbs provide information about how a verb is done. This includes beautifully, happily, peacefully, slowly, quietly, easily, cheerfully, loudly, secretly. For example, he spoke loudly. They played happily. Adverbs of degree. These adverbs describe the level or intensity of a verb, adjective, or another adverb. This includes quite, almost, barely, very, completely, just, absolutely, fully, hardly. For example, I have almost finished my homework. I completely agree with you. Adverbs of place. These adverbs tell us where the verb is taking place. This includes away, outside, in front, inside, over, under, here, there, upstairs, towards. For example, the cat was playing outside. She was hiding behind the sofa. Adverbs of frequency. These adverbs tell us how often something occurs. This includes always, usually, normally, frequently, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, rarely, never. For example, she regularly visits the park. I occasionally eat pizza. Remember, there are two types of adverbs of frequency. You can have definite and indefinite. So make sure you watch the video about adverbs of frequency to help you. An interjection is used to express strong emotion and is often followed by an exclamation mark. So today we will go through the common types of interjections. Interjection of greeting. Hey, hello, hi. Interjection of bidding farewell. Bye, goodbye, see ya. Interjection of joy. This is used to express emotion of happiness. Hooray! Wow! Yay! For example, wow, I'm so happy for you. Interjection of praise. This type of interjection is used to express approval or praise. Great! Well done! Brilliant! Bravo! For example, well done, you did great. Interjection of attention. This type of interjection is used to draw attention to something. Look, listen, shh. For example, look, it's a lion. Interjection of surprise. This type of interjection is used to express a sense of surprise. What? Ah! Oh! Wow! For example, what? I can't believe it. Interjection of pain. This type of interjection is used to express strong emotion of grief or pain. Ouch! Ah! Oh! For example, ouch! That hurt. Interjection of doubt. This type of interjection is used to express uncertainty or thinking. For example, let me think. There are 5 types of prepositions: simple preposition, double preposition, compound preposition, participle preposition, phrase preposition. preposition describes a place, time, or direction. It is used with a noun, pronoun, or phrase to connect it to another word. Simple preposition. These prepositions are used to describe the location, time, or place. This includes in, off, over, under, at, on, near, down, through. For example, the cat jumped over the box. The phone was under the table. Double preposition. These prepositions consist of two simple prepositions used together. This includes onto, into, upon, out of, without, from within, up to. For example, the cat jumped out of the box. She walked into the house. Compound preposition. These prepositions consist of two or more words, generally a simple preposition and another word. This includes in addition to, in the middle of, across from, on behalf of, from beneath, in front of, according to, aside from, as of. For example, I was in the middle of a crowd. He was sat across from her. Participle preposition. These prepositions normally end in ed and ing. This includes concerning, considering, during, following, including, frustrated, provided. For example, he was listening during class. The cat was following the mouse. Phrase preposition. This includes a preposition, an object, and the object's modifier. The prepositional phrase modifies a verb or a noun. This includes on time, at home, under the bed, before work, after school, near the house, towards the road. For example, I arrived to school on time. She ate breakfast before work. So we can split prepositions into four categories, depending on what the preposition is describing. We have location, time, movement, and manner. So the common examples of prepositions of location are above, below, behind, beside, between, by, inside, in, near, on, over, under, through. The most common prepositions of time include at, after, before, by, during, from, on, past, since, through, to, until, upon. The most common examples of preposition of movement are against, along, around, down, from, into, off, on, onto, out of, toward, up, upon. And the most common types of preposition of manner are as, by, in, with, like, on. Now I will go through a list of more than 100 common prepositions. About, above, abroad, according to, across, after, against, ago, ahead of, along, amidst, among, amongst, apart from, around, as far as well as, aside from, at, away, because of, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, besides, between, beyond, by means of, circa, concerning, despite, down, due to, during, except for, excluding, following, for, from, in accordance with, in addition to, in case of, in front of, in lieu of, in place of, in spite of, into, inside, instead of, into, like, minus, near, next to, off, on account of, on behalf of, onto, on top of, onto, opposite, out from, out of, outside, over, owing to, pass, per, plus, prior to, round, since, than, through, throughout, till, times, to, toward, towards, under, underneath, unlike, until, unto, up, upon, via, with a view to, within, without. There are 4 types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunction, subordinating conjunction, correlative conjunction, and conjunctive adverbs. A conjunction joins part of a sentence. This includes joining words, phrases, and clauses. An example of joining words includes, I like to eat pizza. An example of joining phrases includes, we are either going to go to the restaurant or to the cinema. An example of joining clauses includes, I went to visit my friend, but she was not at home. Coordinating conjunction. This type of conjunction is used to join words, phrases, or clauses of equal importance. This includes for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. When joining 2 words or phrases, we generally don't require a comma. She likes to eat burgers and fries. When joining items in a sentence, a comma is required. For example, he bought apples, bananas, oranges, and cherries from the store. When joining 2 independent clauses, a comma is required. For example, I don't like to eat pizza, but I like to eat pasta. Subordinating conjunction. This type of conjunction is used to join a dependent and an independent clause together. These include because, before, although, after, if, so that, when, while, as, than, wherever, once, even though, as soon as, till, as if. So there are 2 rules to remember when using subordinating conjunctions. If the conjunction comes at the start of the sentence, followed by the dependent and independent clause, we require a comma before the independent clause. Because I have an exam tomorrow, I have to study all night. The second rule is, when the independent clause comes at the start of the sentence, we don't require a comma. I have to study all night because I have an exam tomorrow. Correlative conjunction. This type of conjunction is used in pairs to join parts of a sentence of equal importance. This includes either or, whether or, both and, neither nor, not only but, such that, no sooner than, as, scarcely when. For example, He was singing as loud as he could. She was so sad that she cried. I don't know whether to make rice or pizza. Not only, but, such that, no sooner than, as, scarcely, when. For example, he was singing as loud as he could. She was so sad that she cried. I don't know whether to make rice or pizza. Conjunctive adverbs. These are adverbs that act like conjunctions. For example, accordingly, also, besides, consequently, finally, furthermore, hence, however, likewise, moreover, nonetheless, otherwise, similarly, then, therefore, thus. These adverbs join independent clauses in a sentence. So there are two ways we can write these sentences. We can use a semicolon before the conjunctive adverb followed by a comma. For example, I love to visit London, however it takes very long to get there. The second way of writing the sentence is we have a full stop following the initial independent clause and then a comma after the conjunctive adverb. For example, I love to visit London, however it takes very long to get there. There are 7 types of adjectives. Descriptive adjective, adjective of quantity, demonstrative adjective, interrogative adjective, possessive adjective, proper adjective, distributive adjective. So we can split this into descriptive adjectives and limiting adjectives. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. So we have descriptive adjectives and limiting adjectives. Descriptive adjectives describe the quality of the noun or pronoun, whereas limiting adjectives limit a specific noun or pronoun being described. Descriptive adjective. We can split this into attributive or predicative adjectives. Attributive adjective attribute a quality to the noun they modify. They come directly before the noun. For example, that is a beautiful house. Predicative adjective follows a locative adjective. Adjective of quantity. This type of adjective describes the amount of the noun or pronoun. This can be definite or indefinite. Definite tells us exactly how many or how much. For example, 2 cars. This is an example of a cardinal adjective because we know exactly how many cars there are. First job. This is an example of an ordinal adjective because the job is put into order, so it's first. Indefinite. This type tells us generally how many or how much. For example, all, few, many, any, little, much, most, several, etc. For example, he left the house a few hours ago. Demonstrative adjective. This is the same as demonstrative pronouns. They are used as adjectives to point to specific nouns. This includes this, that, these, those. For example, these are my shoes. Those earrings are expensive. Interrogative adjective. This is used in an interrogative sentence and can modify a noun or noun phrase. This includes which, what, whose. For example, what did you do today? Which drawer are the socks in? Possessive adjective. This type of adjective shows ownership of a noun. This includes my, your, her, his, their, our, its. For example, that is my house. Where is your phone? Proper adjective. This type of adjective modifies a noun or pronoun by adding a proper noun. Examples of proper nouns include British, Russian, Chinese, Irish, French. For example, British comedy, French croissant. Distributive adjective. This type of adjective refers to group members separately instead of collectively. This includes each, neither, either, every, any, one, both. For example, neither of them have finished their homework. One of the pupils answered the question. A verb describes an action or state of being. So there are a few types of verbs, including action verbs, stative verbs, dynamic verbs, regular and irregular verbs, linking verbs, finite and non-finite verbs, helping verbs, and modal verbs. Action verb. This type of verb describes the action the subject is doing. This can be transitive or intransitive. Transitive is an action verb that has a definite object that is being acted upon. So we have the subject plus a verb plus an object. For example, Ali is drawing on the board. Intransitive is an action verb that has no specific object that is being acted upon. So we just have a subject plus a verb. For example, Ali is drawing. Stative verb. These verbs tell us about the state of mind of the subject or the relation between the subject and the object. This includes like, love, hate, have, appear, believe, fit, sound, remember, prefer, think. For example, she prefers to eat an apple. He likes to walk to school. Dynamic verb. These verbs describe an actual action or process being carried out by the subject or a sensation that is felt by the subject. This includes eat, run, sleep, walk, talk, go, become, read, learn, write, grow. For example, he is running in the park. She visits the supermarket every week. Linking verb. These types of verbs link the subject to a noun or adjective. This helps provide additional information about the subject. This includes am, is, are, become, appear, will be, been, might, seem, was, were. For example, she became a nurse. Jenny and Amber are sisters. Regular verb. These are verbs that form their past participle with d or ed at the end. They don't undergo substantial changes when changing forms between tenses. So here is a table. We have base form, simple past, and past participle. Ask, asked, asked. Believe, believed, believed. Irregular verb. These verbs don't follow a rule. They make their own changes. For example, here again we have the base form, simple past, and past participle. The example become, became, become. so they don't follow the rule of adding a D or ED. Each word has a different ending. Finite verb. These verbs show tense, person, and number. So the sentence can include I go, she goes, we went, we want, etc. For example, I work at Starbucks. She laughed at his joke. With finite verbs, it's important that the verb agrees with the tense, person, and number within the sentence. Sentence and clause. A sentence is a set of words that is complete in itself and generally contains a subject and a main verb. A sentence also contains the correct punctuation. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. Independent clause is a type of clause that makes sense on its own as a sentence. Subordinate clause doesn't make sense on its own as a sentence and is often referred to as dependent clause. Relative clause provides extra information about a noun. It is a type of dependent clause. Simple sentence. Simple sentences contain one independent clause. It contains a subject and a verb. For example, she brushes her teeth in the morning. The baby laughed. Compound sentence. Compound sentences contain two independent clauses and are linked by a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions can include for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. For example, she brushes her teeth in the morning, so her teeth are nice and clean. Here, we can see the sentence without the coordinating conjunction. We have two independent clauses that each make sense on their own as separate sentences. Another example is, the baby laughed at the cartoon and he played with his toys. It's important to note that we use commas before the coordinating conjunction. Complex sentence. Complex sentences contain one independent clause and one or more subordinate clause. Subordinate clauses are linked by either a subordinating conjunction, for example, although, after, because, since, when, etc., or a relative pronoun, for example, who, which, that, and many more. Examples of complex sentences include, she brushes her teeth in the morning after waking up. As you can see, we have our independent clause, which can make sense on its own as a separate sentence, and then the dependent clause, which is after waking up. This wouldn't make sense on its own as a sentence. The baby laughed because the cartoon was funny. Well, I can't wait to meet everyone at the reunion dinner, which is tomorrow. The last example shows you a relative clause with a relative pronoun, which. It is important to know